Thank you for joining me for the Kronos officer training for schools. Today we're going to take a look at Kronos for the Education Directorate for the officers that work in schools that currently use the booking system that will change over to be Kronos. We're going to have a look through some of the widgets today, explain how to make bookings, edit bookings, and assign bookings to employees, as well as going through and then checking those bookings in time cards and approving bookings at the end of the fortnight. By default, when you open Kronos using your single sign-on, it will open with your name already signed in to Kronos on this default screen. It will also load with this predetermined school sites already to your profile, which will be done upon setup. What you can see up here at the top left-hand corner is the home widget. So if you are logging in and you have this profile, then you will be called a Kronos officer. By default, your profile opens with the schedule planner. And what you can see down here is a number of names and bookings already in Kronos for the employee group that we're going to look at as our demonstration today. Just like to explain first the widgets that we have in the schedule planner. The first widget that we have, the first tab that we have is the quick actions. So if you click on the quick actions, it actually springs open, covers all of the other tabs, and also reduces the amount of tabs that are here on the right-hand side, just down to refresh and save. When you close it, it covers up all the quick actions and it puts the by default tabs available for your view. And you'll notice here over on the right-hand side, you also get an increase in tabs to be the comments, the share, the contact tracing, and the go-to appear. The schedule planner by default comes with the columns to view, and by default, it also comes in the by employee. I'm just going to show you what that looks like to have the by job. Clicking on that now. What it does is it splits up the employee group into their job type. So you can see here we've got ASOs, that is yourselves, the Kronos officers. Then we've got casual BSO, casual intern, casual school assistants, and just if I use the slide bar, you can see the casual teachers. So for today's purposes, I am demonstrating that I'm the school Kronos officer at Gungahlin College. So for training today, I'm just going to pop back into the by employee view and work through the further tabs. Column selection allows you to add or deselect the columns available for view. So you can see here, these are the columns: name, schedule, job, phone number, certificate, and expired. And I'll come along shortly and explain those a little bit more. But should you wish to drop out the phone number, you simply deselect it here, then click back on, and you can see there that the phone number is no longer displayed. I'm just going to pop that back in. The next tab along that we'll be using is the select all. So that is quite literally, it selects all of the employees in the schedule planner. So you can see there they've all highlighted blue. If I wish to deselect, I can just click back off them. I'll click on a single employee. So when I click on select all, it selects all of the employees, and then I might use the go to button to navigate to somewhere else in the software. The next tab along is the tabular view. So when you display in the tabular view, it's more of a data view in Kronos, and you lose a lot of the color coding that is present when we're in the Gantt view. So the Gantt view provides us with this color coding, and we'll go through and we'll have a look at that. The next one tab that you'll use a lot of is the refresh button. So there are times in the software where you might make an error or a mistake and you haven't saved that yet. You're then able to click on refresh, and then that will take you back to the last saved action. View comments lets you view comments on all of the shifts or all of the bookings that are here in the schedule planner. So I just pop that one open. You can see here that there are comments in the schedule planner, and I'll show you how to make those very shortly. The share button allows you to export the schedule planner into an Excel. This isn't a very user-friendly format, and I would suggest that you might be using one of the reports instead of exporting the schedule planner into Excel. Contact tracking refers to the SMS functionality out of Kronos, and we'll have a look at what that SMS function is later. And what you're able to do here is you're able to load, and we haven't got any in our development and training environment here, but you would be able to then display any contact tracing that has happened for the people that are in the schedule planner that you may have sent SMSs to. You can see the save button here is grayed out. It will illuminate orange when there is a change to save. And the go to button will also illuminate when you have a person selected and you want to navigate somewhere else in the software. So if you don't have anybody selected, then the go to will not be illuminated. Just coming down here, I did refer to these columns before. So you've got the name column. You're able to sort alphabetically here just by clicking on name, or you can click on the drop down arrow to sort ascending or descending. And the same with each of the other columns as you work your way across. So all of them, all I've done there is just clicked on the header. The same with job, it would sort everybody into the job types. And name. Now what we have here is certificates and expired. And I just want to explain what that is. So in Kronos, what we have is an indicator where somebody will have an expired TQI or an expired working with vulnerable people. So if we click on the expired, it doesn't look like we have anybody in this view. If they have a tick in this box, then that means that they will have their certification will expire within this period. And there we have one there of just being able to display. So this employee here, James Montgomery, he has got an expiry there of the 6th of the 6th. So that's displaying because the 6th of the 6th, just using the slide bar, is here in the current schedule period that we've got displayed. So in fact, I won't be able to book James Montgomery into a shift after the 6th of the 6th. So should I try and book him a shift on the 7th of the 6th, which we'll do shortly, I will not be able to save that booking, and I will show you what that looks like. Across the top here, we have these little date ranges. And we have this orange dot. So if I click on the orange dot, that takes me to the date range that we've got here from the 25th of the 5th to the 31st of the 5th. You can see those dates then displaying in the row underneath. And we're able to then just click on the 25th of the 5th if we wanted to, and that would just open that as a single day to the view. If we wish to navigate back up, you can just click up on the 25th of the 5th to the 31st of the 5th again. You're also able to change the range of dates here in the drop-down box. So what you're able to do is you're able to select one of the predetermined date ranges and you can select that and view it. So if we just wanted to look at yesterday, we will click on yesterday and then we're able to see what was just happening for yesterday. I'm going to just leave it in the current schedule period for this demonstration. And then we'll just work our way down and we'll just have a look down the bottom here with the two tabs that you'll be most involved with are the rule violations and the staffing assistant. And I'll explain in detail what each of one of those do very shortly. So now I'd like to move into adding a shift or creating an open booking and work through how to do that in the software and the different ways of filling that bookings with people. So the first action that we're going to take is we can see there are some number twos here, and I'll just expand that out and demonstrate what they are. So what we're able to see here is these red shifts or red bookings here are indicative of open shifts. So these are shifts that have already been created in the software to demonstrate a need where a permanent teacher has called in sick and an open booking has been made while somebody goes and looks for a relief person to fill that. So that's what the red shifts mean. Just moving down a little bit further, we've got actual bookings here for this employee, and they're blue, and they're indicating that they are actual bookings at a location. And when you hover over the top there, you can actually see that the booking is at Neville Bonner Primary School as a casual assistant. Just going to navigate a little bit further down and explain some of the other things we might be able to see in the software. Just go back in time and just look for what we might call, okay, you can see these green bookings here, and this is where a pay code has been added, where the employee has cancelled out of a shift that they have had or a booking that they have had. So that's what that is looking like in the schedule planner. Okay, so let's get started. So the situation might be that you've just heard from the permanent teacher. They're unable to come into school for tomorrow. So what you can do is you can come across to Kronos, and in Kronos you'll right mouse click and you get this add shift pop up. So we're going to click on the add shift. And what we have now is the pop-up box for the add shift. Just here on the left-hand side, you're going to insert a template, and you're going to insert the template of the teacher or the BSO or the school assistant that you wish to fill. So in this situation, let's use a casual teacher template. So I've clicked on that template. It tells me that it's an 8:30 to 15:30 booking, and that the casual teacher is going to be booked to Gungahlin College. If I wanted to repeat this for multiple days, I could change the number here to a 2 or a 3 or whatever it might be that I need to add in. For this demonstration, I'm going to leave it as a 1. And then down the bottom here, you might add any relevant information that you would like to tell the casual teacher. So we're going to choose EDU casual workforce, and this might be please see front office when you arrive. And then the casual teacher will be able to view that, and then they will know what they're doing. So we can add that comment and click on apply. And this is the booking that I've just made here. So you can see there that it's at Gungahlin College. The comment that I've added is in there as well. And the last step you need to make is to click on the save button. So now that booking is in there. Now what you're able to do, should that booking go for multiple days in a row, or you've just heard back from the permanent teacher, they're also going to be away on the following Tuesday and Wednesday. So you're able to either use the quick actions, which is here, and copy and paste. So you click on copy paste and you get this crosshairs, come down to the actual booking, click on it once, and then paste it into the days where you would like it to appear, and then click on save. The other way to do that is right mouse click, copy it. And I'll just move along here on the horizontal and then paste it into the Thursday and perhaps the Friday. Now you can see here that I've got a little bit of a messy schedule planner. I've got some shifts in there for the public holiday and for the Saturday and Sunday that I don't want or shouldn't have. So I might just come along, select the delete from the quick actions and just delete those out. It's fairly simple to do. All I'm doing is just clicking on them once I've chosen the delete from the Quick Actions toolbar. Then I can close the Quick Actions toolbar and then just click on Save, and that's cleared up those bookings and I'm unable to have those there. Okay. Now the other scenario might be, so this is the scenario where you might just create the open booking and then you'll come back to it later and fill it. The other option might be is that you've just walked past one of your workmates in the corridor and you've said to the casual school assistant, are you available to work tomorrow? And they've said, yes, I am. So we're going to now create the booking and put the employee in it at the same time. So here I'm going to add a shift. I'm going to use the template for a school assistant, and then I'm going to choose the school assistant that I want to from the drop down here. So I've chosen the person that I would like to do the shift. They are a school assistant, and then I'm going to click on apply. I could put a comment in if I want to, remembering how I did that before. But I'm not going to, and I'm not going to use the repeat for, but I could if I wanted to. And I'm going to click apply. And then when I come down here to that employee, you can see I've actually, in fact, doubled up on a booking for them for that day. So I'm not going to save this. Well, in fact, I won't be able to save it because Kronos will tell me that they're unable to work some of the shift starting on the date that I've booked it for. So we can just see that there. It's Friday the 26th of the 5th. They've already got a booking. So Kronos will not allow me to have two bookings on that day. So I'll say okay. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to cut this shift here. So right mouse click, cut. And let me see if I'm able to paste it in on the Tuesday, which I am. So I've just moved that booking from the Friday to the Tuesday, and then I should be able to click save, which I was able to do, and now that booking is saved and in place. Now let's just have a look at this one here that I said we were going to look at before. And I'm going to come along here and I'm going to demonstrate here what it looks like when we try and book somebody with an expired certification into a shift. So add shift. This person is a BSO. I can see that up there. So I'm going to choose the BSO template at Gungahlin, click apply, and then save. So this is a very unique message and you need to take note of this. So this is the message that you will receive when the employee no longer has a valid certificate. And that means it could mean a valid TQI registration or it could mean a valid Working with Vulnerable People card. So although the alert message does not say that they have an expired certificate, this unique numbering sequence down here that says 0:01 indicates to you that this employee has an expired certification. So no matter what you do here, you will not be able to save this booking, and you should remove the booking immediately from the employee that you are going to try and save. The other place to be able to see the violation is down the bottom of the schedule planner. And I'm just hovering here next to the elliptical and I'm clicking and I'm dragging it up so I'm able to see what the rule violations are here. So you can see that the employee, it says that they can't be scheduled and that it exceeds the maximum shift length. So it's telling you down the bottom that this is a no save and the employee's shift can't be saved at all. So in this circumstance, you will need to remove the shift from the employee because they shouldn't be present on site. And in this circumstances, I'm just going to hit the refresh button, which gives me an undo. So the current page has unsaved changes. Are you sure you want to proceed? The answer to that is yes. And you can see there that it has removed the shift, and then people and performance will do an update of the employee's expired certificate if they have received the relevant information. So what I've explained there is two things. One is that you are unable to book the person with an expired certification or after the date that they have expired from. The other thing that I've done there is I created an open shift and I booked it to the person. The third way to book a shift is you've had the conversation with the person in the hallway and they've said, yes, I'm able to do the shift or have the booking that you've had the discussion with them about. So then you can just come to Kronos and in line with their name, so you can click on their name and that will highlight them blue. You can right mouse click and add a shift directly to them. So when you do that, you can see here their name is pre-populated into the cell. I'm going to choose the correct schedule template, which is extremely important, and it's given them an 8:30 to 15:30, and Kronos will automatically deduct out the standard lunch break and click on apply. So I've given them that shift there and then save. The last thing I want to demonstrate here with the giving them of a shift is how to add the first aid allowance or special ed allowance. So the first thing that you need to do is come here and insert the correct shift template. And then on the work rule transfer column, click on that column. And then as you scroll down, you'll be able to see that there is an SA first aid, an SA first aid and special ed, or just an SA special ed. So they would be the types of allowances that you would pay whilst on shift. Now, if you wanted to, you could just choose one of those. So I've chosen the SA first aid and special education and click on apply, and then that will be as part of that shift. And I'll click save there and OK. The next thing I would like to demonstrate is how to add overtime to a shift. So again, I'm just going to use the same employee. I'm going to insert a template. So this person is a school assistant. And let's just say that they have been given approval to work over and above the 7 hours, but we want to pay them overtime for that time. So I've got the standard shift here as 8:30 to 15:30. Then I'm going to add a row in underneath. So let's say I'm going to pay them an extra hour. So it's 15:30 to 16:30. And again, coming down here, I'm going to ensure that the school is populated into the tab that I would like it to fill. So they're a school assistant and apply. And then I'm going to use a work rule transfer to make that hour overtime. So I'll just come down here to the EDU casual school assistant OT and place that in there and click on apply. So we'll just take a look at that one and see what we've done there. So we've got the standard shift in there. Then I simply added a row in underneath. I ensured that the school name was reflected in the job transfer set, and I've added the overtime. And then I can make a comment in there if I would like to, and click on apply and then save. and click OK through the rule warning. Okay, the next thing I would like to take a look at is what do we do and how do we use the SMSing capabilities out of Kronos. So to use the SMSing capability, you will need to create an open shift here. Then you can right mouse click on the open shift and you can ask Kronos to find you a replacement. So that's what I'm going to do. When you ask Kronos to find you a replacement, what is happening down the bottom of the screen here is the shift that I have asked it to find a replacement on is the Saturday shift, which is a bit probably silly of me. So let me just do that for the Monday. And then I'm going to click on the load button. Now what we've got here is the recommended people that Kronos thinks are available to do the shift, that are qualified to do the shift. So I can select those people, or I can select a selection of those people and click on the contact button. And I get this secondary pop-up here. So here we've got the casual teacher shift up the top here. I'm only sending out one shift, but there must be a one-to-one relationship here. And I'm going to leave assign to first to accept as the option. In the SMS content, whatever information you might want to see in the SMS is what you should type in here. So for instance, you might say, hi, it's Gangalan. Are you able fill the shift, fill the booking on the date of the booking, which was the 5th of the 6th from 8:30 till 15:30. You can see the spell check has activated for me. And then you might say, thank you. So whatever you put there in this SMX text box, you can see I've got 116 characters left. So you could also put relevant information. This is for the swimming carnival. This is for the cross country. It's Harmony Day. You know, any other relevant information you might like to give to those employees. And then you'll click on the send and it will actually send out that SMS to the employees that you've chosen, and then they will be able to respond back via the system. When they respond back with an affirmative, then Kronos will directly put them into the booking. And let's say somebody else tries to pick up that shift as well, they will receive a secondary text message from Kronos to say that the shift has already been covered. So I'm not going to send that out because we don't want to send out any text messages. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to have a look at is what do we do when somebody cancels their booking? So I'm just going to navigate back down here to some of the bookings that we've got. I'm going to close up the open shifts there, and I'll just use these couple of shifts that I've got here. So let's just pretend that this person has just called in and they are no longer able to do the booking that we have them booked for the 30th, and they've cancelled themselves. So there are a number of reasons that they might cancel, but in the first example, we're going to say it's an employee initiated cancellation. So we're going to right mouse click, add a pay code. And the first option that comes up by default in the Add Pay Code screen, and noting the employee's name, the date, the pay code we've got there is cancelled by employee. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to create an open shift. We're going to override the shift that's there, and we're going to do it for the whole shift. The shift start time is at 8:30, and we're just going to, in this circumstance, repeat it for one day. But if they were booking out of multiple days in a row, then you could change that to a 2 or a 3, or how many days they were cancelling. Again, we're able to add a comment here. So I'm just choosing EDU casual workforce, and I will say employee sick in the comment, and then add. What we're able to see is that that shift has then been, a pay code has been added, and it is now green. And then if I look up the top here, this will be the shift that was booked off by the person calling in sick. So it has added the shift back up into the open shifts area. So we're able to then see and refill that shift now, or that booking now, with somebody else. Don't forget to click save. And okay. Just taking a look now at the other types of pay codes that we might add. So I've just right mouse clicked on the next day and then add pay code. And just looking at the drop down, the other two types that you will use is the cancel by manager with more than 24 hours notice, or cancel by manager with less than 24 hours notice. It's really important to note that if you cancel a booking within 24 hours, then the employee is entitled to be paid 3 hours. So that's where you would need to use this code if you were cancelling the night before. So just the same procedure. So you're choosing the code that you want, you're leaving everything else unticked or unchanged, I suppose, and then you will click on apply, and it's going to cancel that shift and pay that employee 3 hours. And then we'll click save. Okay, the next thing that I would like to take a look at is looking at the time cards and managing those bookings and making sure that the employees have punched on and off. So to do that, we're going to navigate over here to the right-hand side, and we're going to have a look at the reconcile time card. Okay, what we can see here in the reconcile time card are some very similar widgets or tabs to what we have in the schedule planner. So again, we've got the select all. So let's click on select all, and it's highlighted all 3 employees that we have available to us in our work area. And in fact, this widget will only display the employees that have worked at our schools for the period that we've got selected here, which is the current pay period. Now I'm going to utilize the Go To button now. So I'm clicking on the Go To, and I'm going to go to the time cards. When I click on that time cards, it takes the 3 employees that I selected all on, and it's now displaying them in this time card view. If you've already watched the employee view, you'll have a little bit of an understanding about what some of the errors in the time card and what some of these red marks mean in the time card, but we're going to go through those now as well. So we've got here a red exception, and this one says unexcused absence. So what that means is that the employee hasn't punched in or out for the booking that they've had. So how do we correct that for them as the school Kronos officers? Because that's our responsibility. We come across here to the left-hand side and we click on the plus sign, and then we can add an in punch for them. So I'm just typed 900, then I'm clicking the tab key and moving across, and then I'm putting 1500. Now I can come across here to the far right hand side and click on the calculate totals. And Kronos will then calculate that. You can see that it's changed the font to black. And also, if I come down here to the Totals tab in the bottom left-hand corner and use the drop-down, I can change it into the daily view. And Kronos here is demonstrating what it's going to pay the employee for the day. Now we know that this is a 6-hour shift, but Kronos has automatically deducted the 45-minute lunch break that a school assistant would take. Now, just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to display some of the other exceptions that we would see in the time card. Okay, just wait for Kronos to catch up there and show me what we're expecting. Just forcing the error here so we can see it. So now you can see that this solid red square means it's a missed out punch. So that's where the employee has punched in the morning, but they've forgotten to punch out in the afternoon. They've got in contact with you. So you can just come along to this cell and put in the 1500 punch. And then tap on the tab key and hit calculate, and Kronos will calculate the correct amount. Once the time card is prepared at the end of the pay period and all of the exceptions are taken care of, and there's no red marks in the time card here that are an issue, then you'll just navigate here to the left-hand side, click on Approve Time Cards and Approve. Now what you notice here is the time card has changed color with that approval, and then that then means if I come back up to the Reconcile Time Card widget and I click on Refresh, it will show that there's one manager approval, and those red ticks that I had before in this cell here are now gone. If you accidentally approve the time card for the wrong pay period or the wrong days, so you should only approve the shifts that are at your school. So I'm just going to undo that. So I'm going to remove the time card approval, and I'm going to pretend that these shifts here, which I don't think they are, they're at Neville Bonner. So I shouldn't be approving those because I'm just at Gungahlin. So if I wanted to just approve this single day here, the first of the 6th, I'll use this selected dates, and I'll choose the first of the 6th here and click apply. And then I can just approve that as a single day. And you can see there it's just approved that single day for me. And then if I go back to the current pay period and view it, you'll see here that just that one single day is approved. Kronos is the kind of software that if you do your approvals and manage your time cards on a regular basis, then the job of approvals will become a lot less. The other thing that has changed with this software is now a school is able to approve bookings and isn't reliant on waiting on the employee to approve their bookings first before work flows through to them. So a school can and will approve bookings at the end of the fortnight, irregardless to whether the employee has done it or not. Okay, I'd just like to go back to the home widget and just navigate through some of the other widgets that we have available and just explain why you have those. So the next widget down that you have is a skills and certs widget. So I'm going to click on that and it will pop open. And when it loads with the employees that are have worked in your work area in the current pay period. And it tells you the expiry dates of their certifications and what certifications they have. And it also tells you the skills and the school preference types that they will have here as well. Okay, so the assumption is that if you can see the employee in Kronos, that means that they have listed your school as one of the preferences. Navigating again back to the Home tab, you're able to have the Approve Time Cards Genie. This Genie is very similar to the Reconcile Time Card Genie. However, it provides a summary for you of the exceptions that you might see. So it's a little bit different to the Reconcile Time Card, but it can be used in the same way. And it just shows you here if this would be a number value, if there were unreviewed exceptions, and this is telling you that it's the unauthorized absences. Just noting here that you do have the My Timestamp, the My Calendar, and the My Time Card. You have those three widgets because they are the same widgets that the casual employees have, and you have them to be able to assist employees as a first step point of contact for support. Thank you for joining me on this look at Kronos. I look forward to meeting you all during training. Thank you and goodbye.